Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. It is a beautiful 24th day of the winter season here in Pelican Town, and we have wonderful things. We still need to give a series of gifts to the denizens of the town, as we still need to try to give a few more of the loved gifts that is Mr. Key's current quest for us. I don't think that'll be horrendously impossible, so should be okay. But whilst I'm just running around today, I'm just going to quickly go and visit the greenhouse, and you can see lots of the fruiting trees are ready for us to harvest today. So that's a nice, easy, quick grasp of things that we've got on there. Now, I think I need to go and deposit all of that in the sheds. And as you can see, we've got quite a few of the powder melons ready, which is nice. I mean, you can't really go far wrong with a good powder melon. Well, I don't think one can go wrong with a powder melon. I think they're great. They're definitely an interesting fruit. I mean, okay, that sounds very bizarre, doesn't it? Are they an interesting fruit? I don't really know. I mean, they seem quite interesting. And as we can see, I've got a nice full inventory, which means it's slightly more annoying to try and harvest everything, which is frustrating. And I've got a copper breastplate as well. Must have got that out of not the trepanning, goodness gracious. Imagine getting a copper breastplate after opening somebody's skull up. No, after the pan sifting for shiny things. Okay. My goodness, I didn't realise how many of the different seeds I've got. Loads of the flower ones as well. Well, let's just quickly dump some stuff off in here. And got some fish that I'd put on to smoke last night that's now ready, which is glorious. Deposit those, and then we'll just put some of the ores away, and we'll grab those fish and we'll just chuck them in here. Nice and easy, really. Okay. Well, I'm not expecting to get much out of the copper at the moment. I mean, it's not really the mineral of the hour, I think is probably the best way of putting it, but hey, that's kind of how it goes at the moment. We've got a lot of other stuff that's ready. Now, the winter crop, like the winter harvestables, the forageables, that's the word I'm looking for. They're not really that exciting right now. I mean, we don't have time to grow another batch of them, definitely not. We've got 3 days until the end of the season, so not planting anything else new today, I don't think. That would be a very silly plan of action, methinks. So let's see what we can do here. Let's just quickly slap some things in there. Lovely stuff. And then we're just going to head on over to the sheds to deposit all of our lovely fruit, because that's where it lives. Now, of course, one of the other things that we've got to deal with as well today is having a quick look through and double-checking, is there anything else that I need to do other than, like, love gifts? Now, I've got to get myself green tea. Now, obviously, as you can see, I've got a lot of green tea on the go in here, and that's because of who my Secret Santa mystery gift present is. I mean, it's not called Secret Santa, but now I'm just going to chuck a bunch of the fruit in here. I know it's not going to be the most optimal, but it's just for the sake of getting it in. I should probably not have done this, to be fair, actually looking back on this on hindsight. It would have been more beneficial to me to actually do more of the green tea and more of the coffee, because then I could actually work my way through the absurd pile of coffee. And look at that, that's a silly stack of it. But the thing with coffee, though, is that it grows so quickly. Strictly speaking, I don't think I need as many coffee plants as I have. Considering I'm not making as much coffee as probably would be sensible, is probably the nicest way of putting it. But at least, as I mentioned previously, green tea having had the boosting update of now actually being not just energy, actually giving you a slight speed boost as well, which is really nice of it. Right, so 24 out of the 50. So let's see if I can give away a bunch more shiny presents to people. Ooh, and we've got some artifact spots to grab from. So Pam, you can have a shiny rock. Now, of course, there are a few members of the town that you don't really want to give prismatic shards to, Haley being one of them. She doesn't like them as much as she does not dandelions. Sunflowers, there we go. I can do words good, yes. I'm having one of those days, as you can tell already. Right, let's grab this crocus. And there's no other quests from Pierre's. That's fine. Let's just quickly go in and visit and deposit some presents for people. So that's an easy win. So, Caroline's not home, so she's not getting a shiny, shiny rock today. Well, we've got some cookies out of the bin. Lovely, because everybody enjoys some garbage food. We've got Evelyn and George having received their shiny rocks. And Penny's not home. Fair enough. That's fine. Who else can we find around and about? Well, let's give a nice shiny rock to Gus. And he's one that I've had a few people that I know in real life have commented like they would love to be able to marry Gus. And I can see why. Because Gus seems to be one of those just really wholesome characters. There's not as much to him, I don't think there's as much character written about him because he's not a marriageable candidate. But I don't think he's, I don't think I've really seen anything that's bad about him. I don't honestly think that there has been in anything that I've really seen of any of the dialogue choices or anything like that. So I think he's a very wholesome character. So I quite like him. Especially the way he treats Linus. Because when Linus is dumpster diving, that lovely cutscene where Gus does what he can and he's like, no, we can't let you go hungry. Which is quite sweet. And I know that's how Linus kind of wants to do things, but it's nice that people actually want to help him. And it would be interesting to be able to see who actually was responsible for throwing the rocks at his tent, which he mentions early on. Because that's pretty horrific, to be fair. I mean, yes, he's a strange man who lives in a tent and is voluntarily choosing to be homeless. It is well, I say homeless. It's well, he's made his choices, and I mean the cutscenes and the little the scripted events really do tell quite a story, as he's quite an interesting character. So Linus is one of my favourite characters purely because of how intriguing he is, and also I do love the way that he really looks after Leo. Very much takes him under his wing, which is interesting because I wonder how that was chosen, as part of the design process almost. But it's interesting also. Right, so let's give some gifts there. So we've given some stuff to the mayor and Leia, which is good. Marnie, you also can have a shiny rock. I don't know where Shane is. I'm assuming somewhere in the pub. Because that is one thing, though, is when you get rid of Jojo, you do kind of remove his ability to have employment. Because I don't think he starts working at the cinema or anything, which I think would be nice to see as a shift, sort of. That he's still got a job somewhere. But that would be nice. Righty, so let's go and give a gift to... I mean, I haven't given a gift to Krobus, so well, not today at least. So let's give a gift to Krobus. That'll be a nice, easy one to do. Okay. I don't think I've also given much to the dwarf. Mostly because the dwarf, being that they are out of the way, they're not somebody that I think about quite frequently. So I think it'd be nice for me to give a gift to the dwarf. And same with Sandy. Because they live out in the desert, they're not as easily accessible. So I think that they do have a slight drawback in that regard, because they are not somebody I might think about giving a gift to. Okay, well, Pam, you've already had a present, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to stop trying, because presents for everyone. I know there's only 2 in a week, but it's reasonably easy anyway. So let's see, who else can we do? Well, my children love me, which is nice, I guess. Yeah, I'm aware that does sound very silly, but it is nice that my children like me and they don't think I'm a terrible human being or a terrible father. Which, to be fair, considering I'm rampaging around, drinking large quantities of coffee and leaving them with their mother all day. And giving them very weird masks. Like, very weird masks, to be fair. So, yeah, I mean, I do make some interesting choices, I think is probably the nicest way of putting it. Anyway. So, Demetrius, you can have a shiny rock. Sebastian, are you in your room? Yes, you are. You also can have a shiny rock. Because it is very, very shiny. And you might like it. And that's all that we really want here, is that everybody gets all the nice shiny things that are good for them. Right, let's keep it going. So we've got the dwarf to donate a shiny thing to next. I think that's probably going to be the best one. So let's see, where are you? I say where, I mean, it's not like they move. So that's the thing is, like, Krobus and the dwarf, they don't really do anything else, so it's a thing. Righty, so the wizard, again, because they're out of the way, I don't really think about giving them gifts, which is, it's not like the greatest way of thinking about things, but it's, unfortunately, that's just how my brain works. And I go, oh yeah, I don't really think about you, which is awful. What was that a possum? They are raggedy looking, aren't they? I guess because I've not really seen them. Now, this little area is one that I'd forgotten about until quite recently. In that my friend had shown me that there was this lovely alleyway buffet, which you can get from just grabbing trash cans. Like, there's a random chance to drop when you open up trash cans. But the golden one that's hiding behind there always has one. So that was very much of a I wish I'd paid attention sort of thing. Because, yeah, I do feel a little silly on that regard. But, hey-ho, we've done it. And we got what we were looking for there. Okay, so that's where our lovely bookseller ends up, which is nice and all. And, I mean, they're not like... There's not really much else that they're doing there, at least. So, nothing else in the movie theatre. I can't go in because I haven't got a ticket. Fine, I'll live with that. Yeah, not saying it's not frustrating, but alright, fine. We'll deal with it. So, what else can we do? Not much. So let's see, who else is around and about? Now, Harvey surprised me with the gift, because I gave him an espresso. Now, I'd assumed that being as, that he is quite fond of a good coffee, he might really appreciate an espresso. But apparently, he really doesn't. Not that he doesn't care for it, but it's just a liked gift for him, not a loved gift, which genuinely surprised me, because, I mean, if you're a coffee aficionado, surely you'd like more coffee. A coffee. Probably the best way of putting it. But apparently not, which, like I say, it surprised me. Again, it's not the end of the world, it's just odd. Not what one expected, is probably the best way of putting it. So, there's Leo. Now, the question really comes is, Leo, how did you get to the island today? Because I don't think I saw Willy go off on his boat. So unless you've managed to co-opt some of your birdie friends to fly you here, then it's very odd. And maybe we need to be aware of your disappearing act of leaving the island and ending up somewhere potentially, not really dangerous, but, you know, how on earth did you get here? But for now, I'm just going to quickly harvest all of the lovely crops that are available here on the island today, because I've got a few. Got my tomatoes, they're ready, and we've got some other things. The mangoes. The broccoli as well. The broccoli, again, I know I mentioned it in the previous video about, like, the fact that, like, I can't... And obviously it was pointed out to me that no, that's not how it works, which is what I was pretty sure of, because it'd be a bit strange for broccoli to suddenly be a repeatedly harvestable plant. But hey ho, it's how the game has been designed, and It's one less thing for me to have to worry about, to be fair. And I am all about less worry because I am very, very lazy. And I'm never going to deny that fact. So if I don't have to faff and worry about something, golden. I'm all over that. So let's get going for the next thing that we need to do. Well, reorganise the seeds. We're going to have to head back to Ginger Island to go and pick up the remaining plants that I've dumped on the floor there. But that's not anything super complex, I wouldn't say. So that's all right. It's not going to be too bad. So let's kind of get that ready to go. Well, we've got all these other things that need to be grabbed here. That's fine and all, but that's... we're going to make some broccoli juice. We're going to put some broccoli in for preserving. Now, I've never had a preserved broccoli. Like, I've never had pickled broccoli or pickled... I've had pickled cabbage, but never pickled cauliflower. So I wonder what that actually does taste like. And admittedly, as a child, I was really not into broccoli. And I'm going to throw this one out there as the very traditional manner in which one might cook broccoli and cauliflower of just boiling the absolute ever-living crap out of it, which seems to be the preferred method of preparing these two vegetables here in the UK, has definitely made them not as palatable. Like I've been having now, like some of the purple sprouting broccoli and tender stem broccoli as well as regular broccoli, but I'm pan frying it with butter and other things like some spices and such, and it's like, this is really nice. I like this. This tastes good. So it's just very bizarre for me to think about actually. When I was a child, I just really wasn't into it because I think it was just too soft, mushy, and it kind of lost all its flavour. And it's surprising how much of a difference that different cooking styles genuinely make to a food. And especially when it comes to things that you might think that you might not like. I mean, of course, like the stereotype is within America that broccoli is yuck, horrible. Whereas I think, what was the movie that showed it? It might have been Inside Out, where the children in Japan are, like in Japan's release, the children had to be showing disgust to green peppers because they're a food of which for me I get because I find green pepper very bitter. I like red and I like yellow. I know it's kind of the same thing but just in different stages of ripeness, but red and yellow, that's my jam compared to others. I think it's probably the best way of putting it there. So let's us just figure out what we're going to do today. Well, we've got more green tea, so that's Caroline sorted. That's not a problem. But what next? We've got taro. I mean, the fact that I'm using the attic as another brewing station, it's not really much I can do on that one, though. Ah, thank you, my lovely dear. You have fed some of the animals for me and done some things, and that is helpful. Let's dump the truffle oil. We don't need it right now. Deluxe bait. It's always nice. So yeah, what else do we want to try to do? I guess that's the question, isn't it? What's the next big plan here? Well, obviously, one of the things that we're going to do today is going in and dealing with the gift giving event. I mean, the Feast of the Thingy Star, Winter Star. So that's going to be a thing that we do today, kind of a given. But it is also a what else are we going to try and do as well? Because there's got to be a few things that we can try to sort of figure out today. What that might be is a different question, however. And we've got some more iron ore. Again, not like anything super exciting there, I'm afraid. Iron ore is useful, I'm not going to deny that. But it's not anything like superb or amazing, or anything that I really am that concerned about, to be fair. which is fine. So my raccoon family of friends, they're all doing well. It is nice that they can still keep giving you quests, per se. So you can still have a, oh, can you grab us this sort of thing, which does make interacting with them a little bit better, because of course you still have the opportunity to develop, well, get rewards from them, which is nice. Okay, so here's the Feast of the Winter Star, my lovely wife, being blessed by the Winter Star. Emily, it's literally probably a bit of wood or plastic that has been stuck on the wall. Yeah, I do wonder that my sister-in-law, she is a strange character, and you're being gross, Mr. Belchy over there. Yeah, she is a strange old character, is Emily. I think I married her as one of the first characters I married. I'm trying to remember. I think it was actually Abigail was the very first one. But I think it was Leah and then it was Emily. Because I thought that was the best string of characters to marry. That's who I wanted to marry. Okay, so Clint, you've been my gift giver, and you've given me an Iridium bar. That's kind of nice. I mean, it would have been nicer to get something else. Something more useful, maybe. But you live in... you can't always get what you want. Or need. I think is probably the best way of putting it, really. So fine, we'll deal with that. It's a very good question, Abigail. I genuinely couldn't tell you. Nor do I care. A little bit blunt and maybe a bit rude, but oh well. Yeah. So... I don't understand why George is such a humbug about spending time with a family in this sort of scenario. It's like, George, like, your wife is very lovely about it, so come on, stop being a butt. You cantankerous old fart. But hey-ho. Right, so the Feast of the Winter Star has eaten up most of the day. Thankfully, there wasn't really a huge amount that I needed or wanted to do today, as that's, well, hunky-dory, really, isn't it? I think that's the big question, though, is if there's ever anything that you really need or want to do in the day, make sure you do it before the Feast of the Winter Star, or any of the events, to be fair, because they will eat your day. We've got all of that jade, and I'm going to replace a few more of those later on. I'm going to probably replace the middle row of them with fire quartz makers, as I think fire quartz is probably the more useful at this moment in time. Again, could be wrong, but I think that's probably the most sensible thing for me to try to focus upon right now. Right, so who else can we sort out today? What else can we sort out today? Well, the animals are probably asleep, so I'm not going to be able to feed them any of these crackers for the golden cracker thing. But for now, we'll just kind of leave it at that. I think that's probably all we can do for the moment. Like, for right now, at least. Which isn't the end of the world, really. But we're going to just replenish the mayo machines with what needs to be done. And kind of go from there, I guess. It's not the end of the world. We're just getting stuff done. And that's the important thing. Now, the animals are all lovely tucked into bed, and I still do wonder what other animals it would be nice to have in the game. Because, of course, I would like to be able to add other critters in. Just trying to think of what would be fun to have. I still would like to have more pet options. Like, I like the fact that Abigail has a guinea pig, and I know I rant about guinea pigs all the time because they are my favoritist of animals, but it would be really cool if I could have a guinea pig in the game, please. Anyway, looks like I'm going to have to wrap up for today's video, so thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, please do like, share, and subscribe. It always does help. Big shout out, thanks go to my patrons on Patreon, and hopefully I will catch you all again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.